There's only about 30-ish states that you can actually like take advantage of solar in. The other states are non-solar friendly. And so that's either predicated on the state itself, the city that they're in, sorry, I can't talk, the municipality that they're in, or even just the utility. Sometimes the utility doesn't want them to come in and get solar because that's taking money away from the utility. And so Colorado is a very friendly state in regards to solar. The problem with the solar installs here in Colorado is the utility, unfortunately. The utility takes a long time to turn the systems on. Otherwise, the state itself, the actual state of Colorado, is very friendly in regards to solar. In some areas, like Fort Collins, there's actually like a city incentive to go solar. And so they empower you to do so. And I will say those credits take a little bit of time to get as well. So that is difficult on the other side of that. But yeah, Colorado is a very friendly state. I wouldn't say solar is more efficient necessarily, but it does work very well here. We have a very friendly program, which is referred to as 1-to-1 net metering. And so what that means is for every kilowatt hour that your system, your solar system generates, Excel or whoever your utility provider is, because the majority of Colorado has this, whoever your utility provider is, they will actually give you a 1-to-1 credit. So whatever you use in your house during the nighttime, as far as energy, they will credit that offset due to your solar panels.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I've got a buddy who lives in San Diego, has solar system, Tesla battery walls, stuff like that. And he's got multiple Teslas. And he's like, great. We suck up power, at night to recharge our batteries. And then we, dump that into our vehicles during the day, and it costs us X amount less. Like I had no idea that was even a thing, that, energy charges at different rates based on different times of the day. Do you see a lot of those battery systems here in Colorado? Are they on their way here? Like, I can't actually say I've seen one in person.
No, so batteries are kind of that rich man thing right now where batteries are very expensive. It's kind of like getting the iPhone while cell phones were a thing, right? Like solar is starting to become a little bit more well known in regards to the cell phone, but the iPhone is really like a very specific consumer niche, right?
Gotcha.
Where it's like you have to have a certain amount of money, you have to be a certain kind of client, et cetera, et cetera. You're probably good with your flip phone in 2007, right? This is kind of where we're at right now, is like solar entirely is about 3.5% adoption nationally in certain states like California, Nevada, Arizona, Florida-ish, Texas-ish. It's starting to come around. But for the majority, California, Nevada, Arizona, they're at about like 12 to 13% adoption. So they're the majority of the nation. New Jersey, New York also, but they're the majority of the nation, right? Everywhere else, it's less than 2%.
Yeah.
So batteries are very new. They're very expensive. The Tesla solar batteries, especially, you're looking at 13 to 15,000 per battery, and you usually need one or two or three of them. So they're pricey, especially out in California. If your usage is a lot heavier, if you have a larger size house, it's very expensive to get these things installed. But like you said, you're now hedging yourself against the utility, where if there ever is a rolling brownout or blackout like happens in California, you're protected against that. So you actually still have energy. You're still able to charge your car. You're still able to make sure your groceries don't spoil. And the other thing about that, too, is we're starting to catch California in regards to how expensive our utility is out here. Mm-hmm. So like you said, with time of use, at the peak of time of use, you could be at 25 cents a kilowatt hour, when even like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, it was at like 15 cents. So it's crazy? Almost doubled.
Yeah. And I could imagine too, with a lot of people going towards electrical vehicles, like all you hear is about the stress that we're putting on our grid. Like as that becomes more of a thing, I could potentially see their cities stepping up. Like what's cheaper to do? Have everybody start to run more of their own power, or start to run, I don't even know how. Do you run bigger power lines? Like how do you support the infrastructure to go, further? I haven't the foggiest.
You don't. And so like with America, the reason why they're starting to look at other countries, like not necessarily a country, but Mexico, for example, it's going to be the new pioneer of the Wild Wild West in regards to being able to basically take America and start moving it further south. And this is all speculation. This is stuff that I hear through the grapevine in regards to renewable energy, which I keep my ear very close to the ground. So take it for what it is. But I hear that we're going to start pushing south, and that is very much a barren wasteland in regards to infrastructure. Right. And so I have some friends over in like Ghana, Africa, for example, that are currently putting together with the head engineer of GE. I think I could talk about this now. The head engineer of GE, they're putting together basically this massive melting machine, because they have a huge need to be able to get rid of e-waste. So in Ghana, there's like a 5 to 6 mile deep hole that is, I think, 5 to 10 miles wide. And it's literally just filled with e-waste, like just a ton of old VCRs, blenders, you name it. And if it's
Wow.
electrical, it's in there. It's just in a hole, right? It's like a graveyard for electronics. And so they need to figure out what to do with this because it's now starting to cause environmental issues. So the head engineer of GE, he basically was a very smart dude, obviously, put together this big melting machine. They shove all the e-waste into this big machine and they melt it down, and the syngas acts as a renewable energy. So the burn off of the electronics, the syngas, is actually used as a renewable energy that they could continue to use because there's so much e-waste. They could continue to use that. They capture it. They put it back into the grid. They use it for electricity purposes, right? Then the plastic melt off is used for 3D printing buildings, and then they also harvest the gold, platinum, metals, silvers, coppers, all of that from the machine itself, and it's able to sort it. And so it's interesting how the system works. I don't know too much about it, but when I was probably like 18, 19 years old, I was in the room. Don't know why I was in the room, but I was in the room like a fly on the wall, basically listening to these conversations inside of a hedge firm that was trying to raise the funds to be able to do this on a $5 billion acquisition level. And so it was something that I got to take a look at. And that was kind of my first experience in the renewables. But in regards to what you're asking, yeah, batteries are still very new. I mean, it's something people are taking a look at. There's a guy that I have a friend over in Dubai. He is currently working on a chemical-less battery. And so when it comes to like shipping batteries overseas, I won't need the certifications and the training and all of the classroom stuff that we need to be able to receive that battery with like the chemicals, right? We won't need all that anymore. And so that obviously is more affordable, makes a better experience for the customer. The battery is actually a little bit better than the chemical batteries currently. And so it actually is a better solution overall.